So update 1.26.1 is here, and with it brings a new game mode, and this thing, the Nergal. And to be honest with you, this tank might honestly be a little bit too good. Because if you're a player that enjoys the heavy tank brawling aspect of the game, this you can just absolutely demolish people with. However, when I say it's a little bit too good, I do only mean realistically against standard rounds or in your own tier and below. The fact that this can meet tier 6s is actually quite worrying because they genuinely cannot pen it if it's played correctly. Because the armor on this thing is absolutely insane. This is against 215 pen, which is what it gets on its standard round. Now, obviously, a lot of tier 8s are going to have around about 200 to maybe 220 pen for the standard rounds, and then below that, you're going to be looking at, obviously, 190, 180, so on and so forth. But this is what it looks like against 215. The turret is 300 millimeters thick and 350 in some places as it slopes off. The actual gun mantlet is 280. And no, you cannot just go through the gun. There is nowhere on this gun mantlet that you can actually just go through and pen like there are on, say, some other tanks. The upper hull is a little bit better. However, it is 300 millimeters thick, and in the very, very dead center, wherever you are looking, is around about 240 millimeters thick. And the reason for that is that if we go to the visual model, you'll see that this is all a full curve around the front here. Now, it does have cupolas, and you can shoot these. However, they are very, very small, and good luck hitting them if it's bouncing up and down or just being annoying in general. But the real problem for this tank is when it comes to side scraping, or should I say not side scraping? Because if you were to go around a corner like this and then point your gun at the enemy like this, and then this is all blocked off, the only possible way of penning this thing is either directly through here using premium rounds, which if you have the premium rounds on this is 252 APCR. It's about a 50-50 chance, just a little bit more, a little bit less if you go up or down, to go through this. Or alternatively, you manage to try and hit this. And that is not an easy shot to hit, especially if it's at distance. You may say, well, I can just go straight through the track. No, you cannot go anywhere through this. Unless you have an insane amount of pen with APCR, you are not going through this. It is just a straight up bounce. The only real way that you have is this tiny little gap here, but good luck hitting that again. Imagine if this is hold down and you can't actually see the track. So the only thing that you're going to be able to see is this and this. And then to most tanks, this is what it's going to look like. It's just not pennable. Now, obviously, against tier 9s and tier 10s, with their 300 heat rounds and stuff like that, it is going to be absolutely obliterated. But, and here is the but, why is the armor this good? Because most of the time you're going to be meeting, let's say, tier 8s, tier 9s, then sometimes tier 7s and tier 6s. In those games where you're most likely to meet, which is your own tier, you are just outright better than majority of the tanks that you meet, and they will not be able to pen you. Like, this is genuinely broken armor. And you may say, well, this is really easy to pen. You wouldn't be able to see that if you're going around a corner. So no, it can't side scrape per se. And, you know, if it's fully hold down, the exact same thing applies. This does have full 10 degrees of gun depression as well. And if that is the case, you are just not penning it. Even if I'm using APCR, this just isn't pennable. Even tier 9s are going to struggle against this. So I feel like this tank it's been a bit overtuned. This is more like a tier 8.5 type of vehicle, at least in the armor department, than, say, a tier 8 that you would expect it to be. I mean, you compare this armor to a Tiger 2's armor, and no one's going to say the Tiger 2 is badly armored, but it makes the Tiger 2 look badly armored in comparison. But usually, when the armor is this good, the gun is either bad, mobility is bad, or something is just catastrophic on the vehicle that then pings it all the way back. Not so much. It has 1,600 hit points, which is just more than enough in general to withstand a lot of what you're facing. It has 2,500 DPM, nearly 2,600, and that's just using a bounty gun rammer. We're not using vents to boost that up anymore. A 2.1 second aim time and 0.32 accuracy. This is completely fine for DPM, accuracy, aim time, and then the alpha damage is 350, which is kind of the sweet spot for middle ground of DPM while still having a short reload time and good alpha. And I mean, as you can see, it's 215 standard pen with 850 shell velocity, and then the premium round is 252 with APCR and it's 1050 shell velocity. The HE rounds are a little bit weird, being 57 pen, which I don't think any other tank in the game has that, because that is a very, very strange number, with 850 shell velocity and then 500 alpha. So anyone that you do meet with them, you're going to cause a lot of damage to. Now, obviously, you're going to struggle greatly when you meet tier 10s with only 252 pen, because if you meet a mouse, even if you meet a Mausian, you're going to struggle. You won't be able to pen the cheeks at all, really. Tiger mouse, Mausian, type 4, type 5, you're going to struggle quite a bit with only 250 pen. However, again, that's kind of a problem with +2 and not so much a problem with the tank in general, because most other tanks are around this sort of pen. And if we just scroll down on here, because it's nice and clear to actually see, the top speed is 30 kilometers an hour, and this is with a turbo, which you may think that's really quite slow. And yes, it is very slow. But that's the same kind of speed as like a Turtle 1, because a Turtle gets 25 kilometers an hour, whack a turbo on it, goes to 30. Bit of engineering, goes another 1 kilometer an hour. That's more than good enough. And this is with using engineering. So the base one is actually 24 kilometers an hour. And then we whack a turbo on, that's a +5. That goes to 29. And then we get plus 1.27 or whatever from engineering, which then makes it 30.27. So this is roughly the same speed as a Turtle, but is a lot more flexible than a Turtle, although you definitely don't get the Turtle's gun. And obviously it's completely pointless comparing this tank to the Turtle, but in regards to speed, it is pretty close. And the view range on the vehicle is 419. This is obviously using as much as I possibly can, so this is the maximum that you're going to get without using coated optics or vents. But for a heavy tank, that is more than good enough. There's not really anything that holds this tank back. If this was going at 20 kilometers an hour, I think this would be a lot better. It would make it so that it's really quite slow in regards to the armor that it has. Anyway, let's go and play one game. I did play one game before, just to get acquainted with it. And we got a mastery badge. We've done 3.7k damage, and we just absolutely shredded the enemy team. So we'll go and see if we can do it again. So you join me on steps, and already 2 of the light tanks are dead in this game. I mean, there is 4 per team, so it's not really too bad. Apologies, the overhead distance marker is not configured correctly because I haven't had time to set it all up, and I just keep forgetting. I'm pretty sure a lot of people do that, where they go, oh yeah, I've got all my mods installed, and then they forget to actually configure them when they're in-game, and then they go into the next game and they go, oh yeah, I must remember, next game. And then they don't remember, and it's just an endless cycle of trying to remember to do everything. But yeah, we're going to be playing steps. We're going to be playing this corner. We're going to see what we can do here. Hopefully our team should be able to prevent him from being too annoying towards us. Oh, another Nergal. Hello. I wonder if he's just outright bought it, or if it's like another CC playing it. But all we need to do is just make sure that we angle correctly. It's a lot like playing a VKK in many ways, where you kind of just angle your lower plate, but in this case you're not really angling your lower plate, you're angling this track and just trying not to present them with as much as you can afford to not show. I tell you one thing though, the gun does feel good. Oh, VK. Oh, what are you doing? The gun really does feel very nice. I don't really know how we're not penning this, but we should really be. Punish him as much as we can. Get one in. It's a little bit annoying, but that's fine. Again, just trying to angle it. This guy actually knows what he's doing, though. Yeah, this guy actually knows where to pen me. This one doesn't seem to. Now he does, apparently. Oh, no, he doesn't. But, like, this is just absolutely broken. Like, I'm just sitting here. I should be dead in pretty much any other tank. But yeah, I'm absolutely fine. Well, I mean, I say absolutely fine. I'm definitely not absolutely fine. This is a bit of a dodgy situation to be in. And we're going to try and pull back from this, but... just try and go hull down here. I don't really know how that misses. Can he see the lower plate? I don't know. There you go. Bounces last shell. We're already up to 3.8. Don't have a shot on him. Should really switch to APCR for him. It'd be a lot easier. He actually hit the cupola but didn't pen. The classic. If he goes too far forwards, oh hello. You are now dead. Wonderful. Try and block the cupola if I can. I mean, we're up to 4.8 now. I'm going to go for APCR so we can try and deal with him. Although I am well aware that he could just go straight through me in a second, so... We start to load HE, which is actually not good. If I back off, does it... Am I okay? Am I safe from him now? I don't know whether or not you can see my cupola. That's the problem. One more into lava. Yeah, this gun feels really, really nice to play with, to be fair. Really, really nice. What is Mr. Lava doing? Lava is a tank that is going to cause us a few issues. I need to try and kill this. Oh, okay. That's a very, very big shot. You know what? That's fine. The fact that we get him out of the game means that we might still be able to win this. Because genuinely, the Nergal is the biggest issue on that side of the map. Yeah, 5.3. We didn't even play exceptionally well. We blocked 4.4k. And obviously, yes, it is not going to do this in tier 9 and tier 10 games. Unless they're absolute idiots that you meet. Because all they're going to do is load premium and go straight through you. You will not have any armor in a tier 9 or tier 10 game if they have like 340 heat, 300 heat. It'll just go straight through you unless you're fully hull down with all your gun depression. But this is ridiculous. This might actually be the most broken heavy tank besides the BZ-176 in tier 8. And even then, I'd rather play this than a BZ-176 just because I don't like the gun of that tank. Because the fact that this has a reliable gun with this armor is just way too good. So, another mastery badge, high caliber, 5.3k damage, 4.4k blocked, 2 kills. Yep, tier 8 tank. I genuinely do feel that this is almost at BZ levels of OP. Because with the BZ, if you play it like an idiot, you just die. If you play this thing like an idiot, you might actually end up surviving. And because it's actually slower, the idiots that would drive this tank wouldn't be able to get themselves into danger as often as they would with the other tanks. This tank is almost just too idiot-proof. Let's be honest though, all they really had to do to fix this tank was just make it that you could shoot through the tracks. And obviously this is by no means a review of the tank or anything like that. I have not played enough games to fully review it. But for the first impressions of this tank, this is broken. And one of the other things is that on the field mods, you can choose the right-hand field mod here for the first one, and you get even more track health. You have more than enough terrain, effective terrain resistances that you maintain all your speed across all terrain types apart from the swamp environment. So you can pick this right-hand field mod, you get even more HP. And then just combining with everything else, it's mental. In fact, that brings up two very, very good points about this tank, speaking about the BZ. The first point is that against a BZ, or any caliber that is greater than 150 millimeters, you can overmatch the roof on this thing. That's not a very, very easy shot to hit, especially if you're using a 150 millimeter gun, but you can do it. As well as, if it is angled, you can go underneath here and then go straight through the track and hit the overmatch point on the belly. But again, that's not a very easy shot to hit. But the other thing that I wanted to mention with the BZ, it can't really pen this tank. So if a BZ comes flying around the corner at you, and you're hull down, and you're angled, like this, you can just laugh at him. He will not pen you. The other thing that I wanted to mention, just before we leave, is that this tank was actually already nerfed. This is the nerfed state of the Nergal. This tank is actually called the Crusher, or was called the Crusher. This is its unskinned state of the tank. And this is the stats before it got nerfed. Imagine this. And if it's fully maxed out, these were the stats. 3,200 DPM. I mean, I'm glad it was nerfed, because that would have been... I've lost words. With exactly the same armor. So yeah, the Nergal. I don't know what's going on. I genuinely do feel like this is like a mouse down at tier 8, or an E3 down at tier 8. Just mental. And I think that if you enjoy this style of gameplay, which I do, this is going to be an insanely good tank for you to play. Well, once I get it, and once I've played a lot more games in it, I'll give you a full review on it, but that's my first impressions. This, maybe they'll change. Maybe this tank isn't actually as good as I think it is, but we'll see. See you in the next one.